when I thought I couldn't find my way out. Yeah, I searched the God in me to find my way out. I know it can seem way out, but the Creator flows to and through me from way out. I'm talking way out, way out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, if you believe in the God in you, it's a better place. Creating the force and the power to live a better. Just know that love and joy and peace is one in all of the same space. That you were chosen just like God. That's right. Only you can make the change. Shake your head at you. Shine so bright from darkness to light. From darkness to light. Yeah. And you'll find your way out. Yeah. Oh, it won't seem way out. Yeah. The power of God will flow through you from way out. You'll feel it from deep within, and from there you can begin.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to get some information on this upcoming book that you have coming up, that you're talking about, the 5% Nation.
Okay. First and foremost, I want to give thanks to the Lagoon, to the ancestors, in the name of Aladu More, Ra, Amin Ra, and all of the different names of the deities. I give thanks and honors and praises to the ancestors. And so, as you know, we just finished publishing a book called Unveiling the Supreme Wisdom, an esoteric analysis of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And it wouldn't be right if I didn't follow up with a book about the nation of gods and earth, because this is a storyline starting back in 1930, or actually our story starts older than that, because the story of the African is a continuous thing. It's a continuing cycle. But here in the wilderness of North America, in the diaspora, our story, in my opinion, begins with the greats like Marcus Garvey, Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman, and all of the revolutionaries and ancestors that were here in this country that fought against our oppression, our collective oppression and dehumanization. But I give special thanks and honor to brothers like Marcus Garvey, Nomu Ali, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Clarence Smith 13, that's the father who we passionately call Puddin, or Father Allah. I give thanks to those brothers because my initiation into the knowledge of self was via the nation of gods and earths. And many people today really don't know who they are. Just like I revealed in the book, Esoteric Analysis of Elijah's Teaching, Unveiling the Supreme Wisdom, many people think that Elijah Muhammad and these men were not part of the African-centered movement, when in fact these are the men that actually introduced it to us. And so many people would say, well, how dare you say something like that, Brother Tahuti? This man said that Asia was the root of civilization. This man said that we were Asiatics. This man said that Islam was our true way of life. And then even Marcus Garvey taught individuals Christianity. Noble Drew Ali also was one who said that we were Asiatics. And then the Nation of Gods and Earths as well, they say that they follow or that they teach Islam. And they say that Islam is the highest form of living mathematics. What has to be done here is context has to be given to these subject matters. Because what people do not know is that in those early days, Africans in the diaspora, after going through slavery, after going through the process of seasoning by these Europeans, after them going through the process of wiping clean their memory banks, did not want to associate with anything African. We were bombarded with movies such as Tarzan, where actually the word Tarzan means white skin, and we seen a white man swinging on vines through the jungles of so-called Africa, while the Africans were scared and fearing for their life and were depending on this white savior named Tarzan to save them from their primitive way of life.
Right, I remember that. When he'd make that noise. What was that about?
And it's funny that you say that because they were actually making fun of our dialects.
Wow.
So when you hear them saying, they were making fun of how we speak, denigrating our languages.
Right.
You see what I'm saying to you?
Swinging from trees.
He's swinging through the trees, and he was such all wise. He was an all wise white man who knew the language of the animals. He gathered the forces of all of the animals.
When you think about it, it was ridiculous.
Wow, it's funny now, but it wasn't so funny because this is how they were programming our minds to think about ourselves.
Our own people,
we had no major symbols or no major storytelling or narratives about who we were. We were told that we were a people who had no history worth telling. And something that was true then and it's true now. We are the most confused people on the planet when it comes to religion.
Wow.
And a lot of people probably will take offense to that. But it's true. Because if we were the supreme beings, if we was these great civilizing people in Africa, how did we fall a victim to the likes of these individuals who came into Africa and did what they wanted to do to us? How did we fall a victim to that? How did we allow ourselves become the people that we are today? But if we let them tell the narrative, we needed their saving. We needed them to come and civilize us because the only civilizing force is in Europe.
Right.
And anything other than that is just uncivilized.
Exactly.
If we depend on that narrative.
Right.
You see? So, men like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad used religion. And instead of using Christianity like Marcus Garvey did, he used the religion of Islam because it was something new that they did not hear nothing about. They never heard of this stuff. And so when he came with it, since Christianity hadn't worked for them, he used the method of the Islamic language, but he was secretly teaching them an African spiritual system. This is what he was actually teaching them. And what he did is no different from our ancient ancestors. Our ancient ancestors, no matter where you find them in Africa, Asia, Europe, America, wherever you find them, they are the great storytellers. And their stories are not disconnected from their spiritual systems. Because it's a lesser mystery and a higher mystery. And so the stories that they tell are what you call exoteric. And that's meant for the initiate. When the initiate begins to learn the stories and do the rituals and memorize the stories through rituals to ingrain the story in them. But the story is layered with occult power. It has the occult, the hidden frequencies. It has the hidden esoteric spirituality of our ancestors loaded in the story.
Right.
So when you go in Kemet, you hear stories about Asar, Set, Hebrew, Set. We hear about the story where Set murdered his brother, that he was jealous of his brother, wanted his brother's wife, Isis or Set. And when Asar was away from the kingdom, he went around the world civilizing people. And when he got back, his brother had conspired with 72 conspirators to murder Osiris. They call him Osiris in the Greek. His African name is Asar. And so this story is not a literal story. It's an allegory. And the allegory is where the people, the places, the things, and the events have esoteric meanings. They have hidden meanings. So now fast forward a little bit. After Egypt is destroyed or so-called destroyed, those Africans that migrated out of there, they went into the adjacent lands such as Arabia, Persia, Syria. They went over into Europe. They was over into other places in West Africa, right? Such as the Yoruba, such as the Ifa. And you listen to stories about Obatala, you listen to stories about Chango and Oshun and Yeminya. And these stories are stories about the same 7 major powers or deities or parts of the creator that was told in ancient Egypt or Kemet. It's the same stuff. It's just a different story. You don't get caught in the story. The story is told to protect the science so that those who are not disciplined, those that are not purified, who have not gone through the trials and the tribulations and the crucibles of standing upon their square, being tried and then tried again, then tried again, and going through the tests and through the fire to prove themselves to be worthy initiates so that they will not get the greater mysteries. And so this is the reason these stories are told that way. Because as long as they know the story, anybody can know the damn story. But the story has no glory unless you know the inner story. That's the only way you understand and overstand in this thing.
Right, right.
So the same way those men did that is the same thing that took place in modern diasporic Africa and here in America. Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, these men told stories. And the stories were symbolic truths that had esoteric meaning. As a matter of fact, Marcus Garvey had 30 secret lessons called the African Mysteries. And he only gave the worthy candidates. I talk about that in the book. And in Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad story is a modern reinterpretation of the ancient Nile Valley mystery system. And although it's couched, excuse my language, is couched in mostly the lesser mysteries, but it was powerful enough to remember your mind, to remember the pieces of Asar, to bring you into wholeness, bring you back and re-Africanize you. And there are many great men and women who have risen through the ranks of the Nation of Islam during the time of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and they have re-Africanized their lives. You see, now I have my personal qualms about Farrakhan. I am not talking about what's going on today in the Nation of Islam. I'm not even going to speak on that. I just let other people figure that out themselves. Like I said, the Nation of Islam, Nation of God, you need a facelift because you don't know the complete story. Many of the scholars in the Nation of Islam don't know what I'm talking about. They have an idea, but they don't know. However, so this is what that book is about. And so the next book that is coming is Who Are the Gods? Because the gods, the nation of gods in earth is a powerful movement. When the Clarence Smith 13X was a minister in the Nation of Islam, he began to look at those lessons. And he began to have his own understanding. And he had his own self-styled wisdom. And where the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was saying Master Farad Muhammad was Allah, the father said, wait a minute, this is a half original man. He said, I'm the original man. I'm the original black man. Right. I'm Allah. And so he said that he was Allah in the physical form. This kind of teaching is not being taught in Islam. It resembles nothing of Islam. As a matter of fact, in the religion of Islam, it's called shirk, to associate partnerships with Allah. So here's a man telling you that he is Allah. That's not Islam at all. And if you go to any Islamic country, you probably get murdered for saying some stuff like that.
Yes, you are, yeah.
So what are they talking about? So this is what we have to know. We have to know what are they really talking about. And so this is why I'm writing that book, because my purpose, here's the objective. I think it's a tragedy that all of this fighting about who's right, African Senate versus Nation of Islam. I was once a part of that. You know, I debated Dr. Wesley Muhammad, and I participated in part of that nonsense. And I'll be the first one to tell you that my conclusions were wrong. That's why I rewrote the book after a more thorough understanding. Because if you go back and see the video and watch the debate with me and Dr. Wesley Muhammad, I wasn't talking any of the stuff that I'm talking now. And I was trying to tear down something that I thought that I was correct about. I was incorrect. I was wrong. Okay. And I'm a man, so a man always corrects his mistakes. And so after a more forensic analysis of the subject matter, I came to the conclusion, I said, oh, wait a minute, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was on point. When I don't get caught up in the story again, the underlying theme of what he was trying to do. So this is a man that never finished his mission because he expired. The same thing with Clarence Smith 13X, the father of law. He got assassinated up there in Harlem. He got assassinated up in Martin Luther King projects. They call it Forest Projects over there on 115th Street and Lenox Avenue. It goes from Lenox to 5th Avenue. He was assassinated.
Wow, he was?
You know, so he never got a chance to finish his mission. But one thing that I do know that is a fact. The father used
Did he get assassinated by like his own people, or was somebody other people that?
I don't want to get into conspiracy theories.
Okay.
So I don't know the whole essence of how and who murdered him. But this is what I do know. He used to tell the guards to go down there to Schomburg Library. And there was another bookstore in Harlem. I can't think of the name of it. Dr. Ben, John Henry Clark, Professor James Smalls. As a matter of fact, Professor James Smalls knew the father. He hung out with the father. He said he knew him personally. And he used to tell the guards to go down there and to the lectures with Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben and go listen to them. And so he made mentions of Egypt many a times in some of the things that he talked about. So it is safe to postulate that the father knew more than what he was giving the nation of gods and earth.
So did you, when you were in Nation of Gods and Earth, did you used to go down and actually listen to Dr. Ben growing up?
Well, yeah. See, at that time, I wasn't around when the father was alive.
Okay.
So he was assassinated by the time I got knowledge of self. I got knowledge of self back in 1979.
Okay.
I was 13 years old at that time. But I think about after 5 years in the Nation of Gods and Earth, I was introduced to Black Men of the Nile and his family. That was the first African-centered book that I was introduced to. And when I read that book, it automatically started making sense to me. And when I was looking at the pictures of the gods, I said, wait a minute. When I was looking at those images of the gods, I said, wait a minute, these are human men and human women they're in the images of. And so immediately it resonated with me because we was teaching that the black man is God.
Right.
The only thing that was more shocking to me is that I was looking also at goddesses.
Right.
Because we wasn't teaching that the black woman was God. We was teaching that the black man was God, but we never taught that the black woman was God.
Right.
And so that was the most shocking thing to me. But the fact that these gods or these images were in the images of human beings, black men and black women, that's what resonated to me. And so I believe wholeheartedly that the lessons that we was given in the lessons, there was occult spells in it. So when I looked at the symbols, it was resonating to me. I was like, oh wow, it's like I knew this stuff all along, but didn't know it how I knew it because we don't understand how these things work. We don't understand how the spirit moves, how the occult works. It's esoteric. It comes to you subtly.
Yeah, it does.
So it's not that the earlier lessons were wrong. They're always right. Or right where you are at that time.
Right, right.
So as you grow, and you begin to see a different picture, you start to see this a different way. You say, oh, wait a minute. It wasn't that was wrong. It was right because that's where you were right at. Now you're right here now. You're here now. So now you're getting a greater understanding. But that's the way esoteric information, that's the way occult things appear, because the great Indian Kushite nation, they call that Maya, illusion. This illusion. But this illusion, it appears to be one thing, but as we become more conscious, we start seeing through the illusion.
Yes.
And it's not that it's not reality at this particular three-dimensional level. This is reality at this particular three-dimensional level, because if you don't think this goddamn wall exists, try to walk through it.
Right.
But once you get on a higher level, you're going to walk through that wall as if it didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
You see? And that's the way this stuff works.
Yep.
So we have to be careful about denigrating the people that came before us, thinking that we know something that we don't know. And it's a shame that the African-centered community and these brothers are not gelling with each other. Because it hurts the reconstructive efforts of re-Africanizing our people.
So do you think that there is a disconnect between the Islamic community and the African Center? I thought it was more of the FBA and the African Center, the Foundational Black American and the Foundation. Because they're saying that we didn't come from Africa. They're saying we came from America. They're saying that we were already here. That's what their whole argument is.
And that's the nuance to this thing. See, this thing keeps morphing into something else.
It is.
Now we're talking about FBA.
Right.
It might as well be FBI. Because that's what I smell. I smell the FBI behind the FBA. Because the most honorable the most honorable Nana Omowale Malcolm X told us, he said, if there's any dilly-dallying, that's the government. And when you see this dilly-dallying, that's got to be the government behind it. Because to say that hold on. Could there have been Africans that were here in this part of the world? I don't deny that.
Absolutely.
No one denies that.
Right.
But let's be honest about the thing. Africa is our throne, although the planet Earth is our home. So don't try to bring this separatism into the mix. I think we need a new term. I think African Senate doesn't fully encompass the whole everything. I get what we're trying to say by being African-centered. I get that we're saying, okay, we're going to follow the traditions of our ancestors, and that is going to be our worldview.
Right.
I get that. That's powerful. But as the knowledge and the wisdom and the understanding begins to open up to us, we begin to find out, and the brother wrote the book, Supreme Understanding from the Nation of Islam when the world was black. We find that we were everywhere. And we had mystery systems everywhere.
Right.
So the question becomes, if the ancient priests and initiated scientists from ancient Kemet went around the world on a civilizing campaign, as the legend states about Osiris, Asar, says he went around the world civilizing people, and everywhere he went, he taught this knowledge. If that be true, does the people or where the mystery system pops up in Asia, or pops up in Europe, or pops up in America, is it no longer African?
Right. Exactly. It's still an African system.
They both have the same goal, right?
And even if you actually think about the structure of the United States, like everything about it is really based on the Egyptian system. So even the white man is using the ancient African system to run its own country. So it's like,
that's a fact. I was watching the Oscars last night, and they was giving out statues of Ptah.
right? They don't even realize it.
Yeah, they was giving out statues of Ptah.
Because everybody wants to think that we're in Africa.
In this category.
Right. of reenacting life.
Yeah, reenacting life, the drama of life. How ironic.
You get an award for the best person that's seen the realist in that reenactment gets an award of Ptah.
Yes.
Deep. From Hollywood.
From Hollywood.
So Hollywood ain't what we think it is, right? They going in some ancient Egyptian stuff right there.
And they always knew this stuff because you look at great movie writers such as, and matter of fact, he was a writer, Stan Lee, who was the comic book king.
Mm-hmm.
This guy had occult knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
When he was making all of these characters of superheroes, do we think that he did not understand that word hero was the god Heru? He knew this. So when you're looking at Superman, Batman, Catwoman, you're looking at the ancient deities.
Well, he said that the X-Men, I think, were based on the Black Panther, like the like black people. That the whole X-Men was really about African and black stuff. So,
yes. Yes.
So
there's a brother named Asir. I believe his name is Asir. I met him many years ago. He was a Moor. He wrote a little book about Superman, and he was breaking down the metaphysical about the red and the blue, and it was really interesting take. And he was breaking down that science. Yeah, brother Asir.
Oh, Duke of Tears. I need to reach out to him.
Oh yeah, the Duke of Tears. That's him.
Yeah. He's. I need to reach back out there. I haven't talked to him in a while. Him and his wife. He has a beautiful wife. Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to really break down the 5% knowledge. You know, the whole aspect of like the Earth, the Sun, the Earth's revolving around the Sun, and man being the sun and all that stuff like that. So that's like ancient Egyptian knowledge, right?
Yeah, this is ancient cosmology. Because we say knowledge, wisdom, understanding. We say black man, black woman, black child. We say sun, moon, and star. We say that these things are the same. Tahuti said this thousands of years ago. He said, as above, so below. Mm-hmm. This is the ancient Egyptian mystery system. It's a modern reinterpretation of the ancient Egyptian mystery system. And
what an arm, leg, arm, head. Does that come out of that 5% nation, or is that?
Yes, that does. And that's an acronym for the word of law. Arm, leg, arm, head. You see?
Yep.
But in the book, I actually talk about where this name Allah came from. A lot of people don't know that the word Allah It's a composite deity. It comes from two deities out of ancient Egypt. It comes from Ra, and it also comes from Tahuti. So I don't want to spoil the secret. By the book.
Right.
By the book. I will demonstrate I will demonstrate its etymology. Not only will I demonstrate its etymology, I will demonstrate its etiology. This origin, the science behind the origin of the name and how it slowly developed, how it came through Proto-Semitic language as the god El, and then El morphed into other forms of this particular deity, and to those two particular deities came together and became this one deity called Allah.
You know, in Yoruba we have the deity called Ella. Ella.
Okay.
So it's something Ella, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Because in ancient Kemet we had the seven Ali. The seven Ali is none other than the seven Orishas.
You know, when they talk about like the Native Americans that they speak Hebrew, and the ones that there's a certain group in America that speaks Hebrew, I think there's something to the language when you get into the linguistics and stuff. Because I was speaking to a Babala who talked about the fact that some of the Yoruba language is connected to Kemet and to ancient Egyptian, and to Ge'ez and Hebrew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True, I talked about that. It was the work done by Gerald Massey. Gerald Massey said when the Jews left Egypt, they still retained the Egyptian language. So yes, you'll find a lot of the Semitic language. You'll find some of the Semitic roots in Kemetic. Not to say that Kemetic is a Semitic language. I'm not saying that, so don't nobody quote me for saying that. I'm saying that you'll find Semitic languages. You'll find a whole language philo from the Kemetic, because the roots of the Semitic languages, such as the Proto-Semitic, where they all come from, that's the mother tongue, Proto-Semitic. The Proto-Semitic morphed into other dialects, such as Aramaic, such as Assyric, such as Syriac, such as Arabic and Hebrew.
Right.
Those are just dialects of the one mother tongue called Proto-Semitic. And the roots of that dialect you can find in the Kemetic language. There's a whole body of work done on that.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
So this next book that's coming about the 5% Nation, what was the thing that made you decide you wanted to clear things up about that?
Well, as everybody knows, like I said, I came through the 5% Nation of God's and Earth, and I still love the nation of God's and Earth. That was my early foundation. We had a very strong foundation. It made me into the kind of man that I am today. It made me into the warrior scholar that I am today. We were made warrior scholars because every book we read, every lesson we read, anything that we set out about, we was tried on the square. We had to show and prove it. You just couldn't say it. You had to show and prove it. And so when I came out of my house, I was among men who were sharp, and they had knowledge of self. And when you stepped on the corner, you better know your lessons. If you didn't know your lessons back then, you get your butt whooped.
Ooh. So yeah.
And it was that strenuous. And so it made me don't come out of my house until I studied my lessons. I memorized them, but not only memorized them, I showed and proved them, and then I came out and was ready to build with any of the gods. So I stepped away from the nation of gods and earth because when I came in to start teaching about the black woman as God, I said, this is time now. For many years I knew about it, but I wouldn't teach it because I was still loyal to the nation of gods and earth. I said, how can I teach this? But I'm going to get the backlash from the members of the nation of gods and earth that I love passionately. So a brother by the name of Divine Prince, he told me, he said, Brother Tahuti, he said, you probably would he said, you would be more effective if you stepped away from the nation of gods and earth. And that's what I did, so that I could teach that. But I cannot leave many of the brothers behind me, because I love many of my brothers that I have passionate relationships with. Master Supreme You Allah, Tismon, Shafe. These are my brothers.
And I think that if we probably had something like that going on now, people would be a lot more sharp, you know. If we had something close to that, you know, just having knowledge itself, that was that just brought a different group of individuals together, you know, that don't exist right now.
And so these brothers have been studying, and they agree with me that the black woman is God. So now, I'm saying this now, I said, you know what? When I write this, after I wrote this book about Elijah, this was my gift to the nation of gods and earth, because I'm trying to wake some of my brothers up that are still caught in this Islamic paradigm. So now, I'm going to step back, because nobody ever exiled me. I wasn't banned from the nation of gods and earth. But I think it's time for me to step back into the nation of gods and earth and cause a civil war.
Oh, wow, okay.
Because it's time for somebody has to bring the conversation to the table. Because if not, then this group of people, this group of men and women will become obsolete.
Wow. So
I think it's time now, because I'm ready to show and prove. And I'm not talking about no violence. I'm not talking about disrespecting anyone. I'm talking about sitting down at the table, bring the scholars out, and let's show and prove this thing. I'm ready to show forth and prove who the gods are. That's why the name of the book is called Return of the Gods to the New Egypt, New York City. I like it, New York City, as the empire state of the United States Empire. This is the new Egypt because of the character of New York. The same way like in Egypt, everybody from all over the world, from every commerce, every money, every trader came to Egypt. To either sell something, buy something, come in and go to school, bring their clothes, their fashions, whatever it was, they came to Egypt. This is the same behavior that takes place right here in the United States, in New York City. And the building that symbolizes this is the Empire State Building. Not only the Empire State Building, but right here in Central Park, they actually have the obelisk. They call it Cleopatra's Needle.
Right.
The obelisk, Osiris's penis, that they took from ancient Egypt and put it in Central Park.
Right.
That's the real obelisk that they took out of Egypt.
Interesting. That's crazy. So listen, how much time do we have? I'm gonna make sure we don't just get cut off.
Wow, I'm not sure. We might get cut off any time.
Right. So let's just do some final words, just in case.
Yes. Okay. Listen, I need your support. Please go purchase the book. I have 2 books out: The Black Woman is God, and I also have Unveiling the Supreme Wisdom and Esoteric Analysis of the Teachings of Elijah Muhammad. You can purchase that on Amazon.
Right.
And if anybody is looking to want to discuss these issues with me personally, you can always contact me at Nathan Howard. I'm at you would have to write to Smart Communications /PADOC, P.O. Box 33028, St. Petersburg, Florida. Zip code is 33733. And don't forget to put the inmate number, which is Nathan Howard MC-2310. So you can write me.
All right.
Just when I thought I couldn't find my way out, yeah, I searched the God in me to find my way out. I know it can seem way out, but the Creator flows to and through me from way out. I'm talking way out, yeah. See, if you believe in the God in you, it's a better play.